Welcome back. This is Fantastic Pains and How We Hide Them. I'm not Chris.
And I'm not Karina.
But we're here together.
As usual.
For more fun times.
And shenanigans.
If this is your first time joining us, welcome to the party. This is our sibling duo podcast / YouTube channel about life with chronic and invisible illnesses, including those that are mental and emotional.
Because I'm mental and she's emotional.
Facts on facts. Yes, yes. Where can they find us?
You can find us on YouTube and on Spotify and most podcast platforms, except for Apple, because we are not going to turn our settings down.
No.
They want us to turn our settings down. Not going to happen.
We like quality.
That's why we release this in 4K. I'm a psychopath,
you.
okay? Quality. And Discord. Please join the Discord.
Yes.
We have a great community there of people
amazing.
that will help you, or you could lurk, or you can jump in and say ridiculous shit. Yeah. Like we have a Yeti.
We do have a Yeti.
Does whatever he wants.
Yeti is pretty wonderful.
We love you,
He
Yeti.
shows up and is like, "Pow, love," and we're like, "Yes."
The most chaotic love.
Yeah.
But yeah, join the Discord if you can.
Absolutely. And leave us a comment and let us know. You can talk to us about basically anything. We will take episode suggestions as well, which is super fun. All righty, my friends. Today is going to be a kind of heavy topic.
Yeah.
So we are going to give you the trigger warning up front. We will be talking about abuse and abusive relationships and leaving those relationships.
And suicide, possibly.
There will be mentions of that.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is your chance to go away.
Do you want to do a recap or?
We can do a recap. Yeah, we'll do. Well, we'll just give the what's been going on.
Yeah, I'll do a succinct one for me.
Okay.
It's been so long. All you guys need to know, my shoulder sucks again and it needs surgery. I had a gallbladder thing that happened and it went away. It was horrible. I had like 2 weeks of not being able to move. Remember that? Every day was painful.
Yes.
Our videos got corrupted basically, and we recorded the wrong stuff, and so we don't have videos. And it's okay. It's okay. I've killed more videos than you have. You've killed one. I've killed at least 13.
Okay.
So
I don't feel too bad.
No, you shouldn't feel bad at all. And I don't know. I have kids in my life now.
Yes.
I have teenagers, and then there are extra kids, and I love the kids, and life is good.
Yeah. But the kids are wearing your shoulders out.
Yes, they are.
The little ones.
And it's worth it.
But it's so worth it because the little one who saw you the other day was like, "It's you," and then took off running and gave you a big hug, and it was so cute. Oh my God.
I got the biggest hug too.
You did. You had a really big hug.
He immediately put his head down on me and was out. He was like, "No, this is it. I'm happy." I was like,
very happy.
I couldn't handle the cute.
It was super cute. He was just adorable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had kids last week. Before last week. Last week, yeah. And that was super fun. So 2-year-old twins running around my house. We took the week off so that we could hang out with the babies. And that was awesome. And we took them to parks and played with them. And they were just great. They're so great. They just fall right into the routine like it's nothing. Like they never left. It's crazy. But we were able to polish off their routine now, which is great. So
yeah, you've refined it.
It works like times and
the evenings aren't meltdown time anymore.
Yes.
Right? Like evenings are manageable.
Absolutely.
That's huge with kids.
Yeah. The more like structure and predictability, the better they are and all is well. So that's been really fun. I've been having a good time with all of that.
She saw Dr. Anna. Kinda.
Oh, I met Dr. Anna for like...
You met her. For a good hour.
Yeah. She didn't know. I'll let you tell this story because it was
so
funny.
I brought Karina because I was like, you need to meet Dr. Anna.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen Dr. Anna since Randy happened.
Yeah.
So life had been chaos and I had to explain to her what's going on. I was like, oh, my brother-in-law did blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then she didn't realize that my sister that was with me was the sister that had the husband. So we were having conversations about it. And she was kind of like just talking to me, which is okay. Blunt. It was my appointment.
Yeah. It was fine. I didn't feel any way about it.
But then when she realized it was your husband, she freaked out.
Yes. She was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. I thought it was your wife's brother or somebody or like whomever or whatever it was. Yeah, it was also
fun. Dr. Anna, hi. I'm glad you watch these. So
yes. And I made an appointment.
Yeah, you did.
So I'm excited and I'm going to take the day because psych evals are just tough. You're just tough and you get tired after. And I've been dealing with a lot of fatigue lately.
Yes. bad.
I took 6 weeks off from work.
Which you needed.
Yes. Oh my God. To get
there's
everything.
Like burning it at both ends, and then there's burning it all at once.
It just was on fire.
I was going to say, it wasn't.
It was just kerosene. The whole thing was on fire, and I was dying and
you hit
crying
your limit.
a lot at work.
And you still managed to do stuff. I mean, I'm seriously impressed that you were still forcing yourself through it.
People keep looking at me going, I'm just impressed that you got out of bed. And I'm like, thanks. The bar is so low.
My bar is a lot higher than that.
Yeah. But I mean, it's all of the trauma healing because, and it took somebody at the district to really get it through to me where she was like, honey, your brain is you're dealing with brain damage because that was a huge trauma.
Instant trauma.
Huge
It changes your brain chemistry.
Yeah.
Literally, your brain changed that moment.
Yes. And so trying to heal from that has been just exhausting. And I feel just frustrated because I'm like, I know I can do what I need to do, but I can't do what I need to do. And so being like physically and mentally unable has been frustrating for me. But I'm working on giving myself some grace. I'm going to go back to work in the next 2 weeks.
So like after next week?
Yeah.
So I have
this next week Monday off, and then I have next Monday off. Or the Monday before. So I have the 3rd off, go back on the 4th.
Okay.
So it's going to be fun. But I'm not too concerned. And then I have an appointment with Dr. Anna. So I'm excited about that.
Yes.
And then I didn't get in with neurology because referrals are stupid and they keep referring me to places that are not taking new patients. Why? Get it together. I want Kaiser back so bad, guys. United Healthcare is the worst.
It's so funny in a way to me because like you know what I've been through.
Yes.
You helped me get through it.
Yeah.
But then for you to experience it firsthand now and you're like,
Well, it's like, frustrating too because I had Kaiser.
I know. You had everything.
I had everything in-house. Everything was managed in-house.
Yep.
I didn't have to fight anybody to get my medications filled. No. I didn't have to make 7 appointments to like blah, 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 blah.
It took me years to build my team now.
It's awful.
Years.
Yeah.
And now I have a team that I can just visit and be like, I have this problem. And they're like, cool, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah.
I did see pain management and that was good. Yeah. So I've seen pain management a couple times. I like this guy. He's good. Dr. Miller. And he was really funny. The first time I met him, he was like, oh, so you have EDS? Can you do the thing? And I was like, yes, I can do the thing.
Watch
I can
me.
do the thing. We can do the thing. Look at the thing. Okay, here's the thing. Ready? Good. Got it. So he was funny about it. He's fascinated. And so he was like, I don't really know if we need to put you on a contract. And so he gave me 21 pain meds. And it was like, we'll fill in 2 months. And then I was like, haha, bish.
Got you.
We'll fill in 3 months.
Got him.
How about that? And so I saw him at the 2-month mark and he was like, I don't think I filled your, and I was like, yeah, because I haven't needed you to. Haha.
Exactly.
And then he was like, oh, okay. So if we can keep this like pacing or something close to it, you're fine. We don't need to put you on a contract.
That's good.
And you can continue using your like.
So there's, without being on a contract,
recourse.
You could still go up if you had like a bad month or you hurt yourself badly. That's nice. That's good.
But yeah, so there's our recap. For the most part, I don't think anything crazy has happened. For the most part, we've just been, life. Yeah. But today we are going to talk about leaving and recognizing abusive relationships.
Yes.
And what that looks like from both the inside and the outside, because you've had to watch me go through it. Oopsies.
And not just with one person. I've had friends that have gone through it.
Yeah.
And I'll get into it when we get to it.
Yes.
I have a lot to say about it.
So what was our first note here is like recognizing the abuse that you're living in, because there is this crazy cognitive dissonance when you are living in an abusive relationship or in an abusive system or however it may be. Your brain literally compartmentalizes in order to survive. So there are things that you like put away in drawers and you never think about again, or you're like, I'm just going to conveniently forget that, or we're going to rationalize it.
Rationalize it.
There was a lot of that.
Let's compare it to the worst thing I could imagine.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that, so it couldn't be that bad.
Yes. Well, and it was also that whole like high empathy thing.
Yes.
Where it was like, if I can understand it, then it's okay.
Which isn't true.
No.
You gotta, that's a big realization.
Yes. So there was a lot of this like, well, he doesn't know any better that took place.
But he did. Spoiler alert.
And then he came out and said, I knew better. I knew how it was affecting you, and I didn't care. And that's when it kind of... That's not even when it started falling apart, but
no, that was the confirmation. It was like
the confirmation.
Imagine you set up the dominoes, right? Everything's ready, and you're like, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then he said the one thing, and then everything fell into place. Like,
So my husband was an alcoholic, and he regularly would have meltdowns while drunk. He would get really angry about things. He was irrational about things. He would blame me for things. He would put me down for things. He, at one point, asked me to stop doing so much work on myself because we were growing apart because I was growing.
When we were doing therapy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and he was like, if you could just stop working on yourself so much, that would be great.
He also made things up, like illnesses and conditions.
Yes. In 2022, he faked a head injury. So he had a head injury, right? He did not have a TBI, which is what he said he had and what he played it. So I thought I was living in this relationship that had fallen apart because this man had a TBI and he had completely changed, when in reality, all of the masks had fallen apart and he was basically drunk all the time. And that's why he was bailing out. He wouldn't go through with PT. Like we would go to PT and he would melt down and we would have to leave and go home. It was a lot. And so he stopped doing anything and everything. It was video games and drinking. And that was it.
And vaping.
But that was all that was all there was. And so I was taking care of the house, and I was taking care of the animals, and I was taking care of this and that.
And you were giving him grace.
Everything
you were
else.
Being the empath that you are. And
that was the really hard part, was like excusing it because of the head injury.
Yeah.
And he conned me out of work trips. He would call me while I was over here.
Yeah, there were sessions we couldn't do because
several.
He was like, no,
I'm having a panic attack and you need to come home and make sure that I'm safe because I don't know if I'm going to be safe.
Red flag.
Okay. He threatened suicide several times in that time span. And like 2022, 23, 24, it was like 3 years of hell with him. Because in 23, he stopped drinking after he threw something at my head, and I told him to go to his parents' house, and he drunk drove into a mailbox. That's not what I intended. I meant call your parents to come get you.
Yeah.
It didn't register because he was like, I'm just going to leave. Drunk drove, hit a mailbox with his brand new car, and then begged and pleaded to come back and all of this stuff. And it was hard for me because, like, how can you be the girl with the chronic illness and leave a man with a TBI?
Right.
So I knew it was ending in 2022. All of the masks fell apart. And then when he quit drinking, he stopped doing anything at all. Yeah. And I would tell his parents, I was like, it's like he quit drinking and then fell apart. So I had no idea what the heck to do. I didn't know the road with an alcoholic partner was going to be like. I didn't know how to support. Like, my support was, you need to go to AA because you're better when you go to AA. And he would go once a week. He never did the 90 and the 90. He never followed through with the steps. He did his step 4 one day. In one day, never worked on it again. And then in that one day, showed it to both myself and my brother, which he knew he was not supposed to do.
Yeah.
But then, oopsies, that was an accident. But that was the start of the, like, truly leaving.
Yeah.
The planning and the calculating that went into leaving.
Right.
Because he confirmed, I knew what I was doing to you. I knew how it was affecting you.
Yeah.
And I didn't care.
Right. He said that. He wrote it out.
And I said, okay, cool. That's all I needed. And then that's when I started snipping away at Connections because he was literally handing me reasons to leave.
Yeah.
And then being like, where's my pat on the head and my cookie for being self-reflective and honest?
Yeah, it was not great.
He at one point told me that he didn't see me as a person outside of my work and outside of the podcast. He said very specifically, he said, especially not in the relationship and not in sex. So again, every little one that he handed me was just another snip for me. So it was hard because I was still living within the abusive cycle while being able to recognize it. And
we had it down to a rhythm.
To leave. Yes. There literally, was a cycle.
We would know what was going to happen and when, because the cycle was very, and it got shorter and shorter. The less it worked, the faster it happened.
Because it would amp up and then it would die down because he was like, oh shoot, I have to play this part of the, like, I'm trying to get better. And he would try to get better until I shut up.
Yeah.
And then he would go right back to whatever the problem was. Or old patterns. And he was never able to see that they were patterns.
No.
His whole life was the context of the moment.
Yeah. There was only now.
Yeah. He didn't understand how context played into my decisions or into my feelings. Or
lack of context.
Right. And he would frustrate himself because he would go, oh, I'm trying, but I'm not getting the reward that I want, which would be like my affection, my attention, or physical intimacy.
Right.
Because by that time I had recognized the pattern and I knew that this is where we are now, but talk to me in 3 days and we're going to be somewhere totally different.
Yep.
Because his whole truth was how he felt in the moment.
Only in the moment.
Right. So it was anytime he had a new feeling, reality would change.
And anytime the feeling was negative, it was an emergency.
Yes. Yeah. Because he couldn't handle discomfort at all. At all. But he was very happy to cause it in all of his relationships. It wasn't just me. It was every relationship.
Yeah.
Where are we? Let's see. And just living in it and trying to figure out how to go was really hard.
Yes.
Because
we spent years talking and like, I had backup plans for your backup plans. Like you were making a plan and I had plans in case those didn't happen. And a lot of them had to do with your safety. Yeah. But you didn't know that at the time.
No.
But
because I couldn't recognize, that was something that I didn't recognize until way after.
How unsafe.
Yeah. I couldn't I couldn't really quantify the amount of danger that was in that relationship until much, much later down the road.
Yeah.
Because it was always this like, well, I'm fine and I won't let him get the better of me. And I thought I was defending my like independence and my freedom and all of these things, when in reality it was like I would win a tiny battle here, but the war was still the war.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, like you were like, I don't have anywhere to go. I need to get him out of the house. So like, sans that idea, we were like, we'll move you in here. I knew how I was going to remove everything. I knew what, I even looked up, like we almost had a storage unit, like to put all this stuff in. Yeah. To fit you in here.
Because that was the thing was like, it was leaving by myself was something that was really hard for me to contemplate because of all of the animals and because of how unsafe he was with the animals at a lot of points. Because they just became bystanders to his rage. Yeah. And to him putting holes in the walls. And if they were in the way, they were getting kicked. And if they were nearby, they were getting stuff thrown at them too. Or they just... It was hard for me to think about leaving them in a state of fear. Right. And not being there to be their defender. Because at that point, that was the role that I took on.
And that's funny. You identified how unsafe it was for them, but not for yourself.
Right.
Right. Like the same.
So I was like, he knows better than to do anything to me.
Right.
Was the whole like, well, he knows better. He knows better.
I mean, in a way, you're right, because then he can't play the game anymore.
Yes.
You were the game.
Yes.
So.
Well, and that was the thing is like, I was in an abusive relationship, but I was not nearly as deep as some other people wind up.
No. Yeah.
And I'm really fortunate in that aspect, but it also means that I excused way more than I ever should have. And I did it for almost like for 15 years. For 15 years, I excused abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Like early days, he was biting me and pinching me. And that was like the thing. And it was like, oh, it's playful. But it wasn't. He was leaving like massive bruises all over me, anywhere under the clothes.
Right.
And then he would go into these fits of being really cold to me and seeming like he was irritated by me, but also wanting me around. But also like, it was just this like leading me on and jerking the chain. And then there was no reward there. And then it was just, he kept me in a state of confusion for a lot of it.
Yeah.
And then at certain points I would call out behaviors, and then those behaviors would die, but they would be replaced down the road with a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the abuse got more covert as time went on.
It had
and
to,
as,
yeah.
And as I called things out.
You were getting more and more aware of your situation and your worth.
Yes.
That's when it really took a turn. When you like discovered you have self-worth and you deserve better.
Yeah.
Then holy shit. The doors flew open.
Learning that I could trust my intuition was a huge part of that. And like not dismissing things, because I'm right a lot. I don't like it though. It's not something I'm proud of at all, but I'm right a lot. But I like to second guess the hell out of it. And so I don't give myself the credit for the patterns that I'm recognizing until I'm positive.
You want to give things the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
It's like,
because I know I'm not a mind reader.
But it could.
Yes.
You know.
I'm like, I'm not a mind reader.
Yeah.
Even though I knew exactly what was happening and what the pattern was and what his thinking was and all of it. I knew all of it all the time, but dismissed in this like, well, I don't know for sure.
Well, yeah. We were aware of the bad behaviors and the like abuse, but it wasn't something that we thought he was doing intentionally.
Right.
We thought this was just behavioral. This is how he handles things. He's not
aware
actually
of himself.
out to do this shit, but he was actually out to do all of that shit. Mm-hmm. It was so fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the one thing that he said? He was like, I can't remember. I'll come back to it if I remember. But he literally would say, oh, that's the one he said. He literally said to me that our entire relationship was systematically designed to benefit him.
Yeah. Yep.
And that was another snip.
Another verbatim, not paraphrased.
No, these are
verbatim.
things that he literally would say to me or text to me.
Yeah.
I have like
say that shit.
Miles of texts that he would just regurgitate insanity.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, so you knew what you were doing. Yes. Mm-hmm. You knew how it was impacting me. Yes. And you didn't care. Yes.
Yeah.
And then when my reaction wasn't what he wanted, he would try to backpedal and be like, oh, well, I was just saying that blah, blah. And I was like, no, you weren't.
You said what you meant to say.
Exactly. And then he'd, okay, well, I guess I did, but I didn't think that it would blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, no. And there's a lot of like, well, why did you stay if it was that bad? Right? Like people in general, people who leave abusive relationships receive answers or questions or statements like that.
Yeah.
A lot. It's not a new thing. No. But
and here's where my outside perspective comes into play. Because like I knew stuff was up, but I trusted that you had it under control.
Yeah.
Like I feel guilty about it. I do. I genuinely feel guilty. Because you know, it's like we talked about everything though. So it wasn't like I didn't express my opinions or whatever.
Right.
But we knew early days. Mm-hmm. You gave him a lot more grace than I would have.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. But it makes sense why you did.
Yeah. Well, and it was one of those things like early on, like our year 3 was horrible. It was horrible. If I thought I had resources, I would have left then.
Right.
But at that point, like I didn't have family. Or I didn't know that I had family.
Effectively you didn't.
I didn't. Like, I didn't have a support system. I didn't have structures to protect me or to fall back on when things went bad. And so it was like this sunk cost fallacy on top of, well, I don't have any other options.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the finances to live independently. I don't have people to help me get out of here. I don't know where I'm going to stay or sleep or live effectively if I leave. And so there's this there's an element of you get so enmeshed and so intrinsically just woven into these relationships.
Yeah. No, I get you.
That leaving feels like jumping off of a cliff.
Yeah.
And just trusting that someone will catch you eventually. Or like you'll hit a tree limb and maybe survive.
Mm-hmm. But then there's also you put time into it. Mm-hmm. It has to have been worth.
Right.
There has to be a reason why I put all this time in. Mm-hmm. It is the sunken cost fallacy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, at that time you didn't have anything. Because me and you weren't in contact at that point.
No.
That was when I was working with Bruce and going through the really bad times.
Yeah, that was 2012.
Yeah, that was suicide times.
Yeah.
I was not long.
I remember because I was in Castle Rock when Bug came over because he was telling me, he told me that you had attempted. And I was pissed because no one else had said anything to me.
Right.
And so Bug came over and we grieved a little together. But that was the closest thing that I had come to with having family again.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have anybody to fall back on at that time.
We had to rebuild from that point on.
Yeah.
Literally. That was the turning point for me. Exactly. And for you. Because that's when you reached out.
Yeah.
And I was like,
bitch, never again. People. I will hurt you.
Yeah. But
but at that point, I knew, looking back retroactively, in retrospect, I knew several points through the relationship that it wasn't good.
Yeah.
But I stayed, and many people do. Many people either don't get out or they get out and they come back.
Which is okay. You're not a shitty person if you end up back in that situation.
Yeah. But people will judge that.
Yeah, exactly.
People judge that a lot. They're like, why? The statistics are, on average, a woman will leave an abuser 7 times before it sticks. That's the average, is 7 times.
7 times. And then it makes me hurt because I know what they're feeling. They're shaming coming back to it. Mm-hmm. It's like you're admitting you were wrong about the relationship being bad.
Yes.
And I could handle it. It was healthy.
There's this weird apology thing that goes on. And
yeah,
it's just, it's hard. And women especially get a lot of flack for returning to their abusers. Mm-hmm. But why do we stay? Why are we in those situations? And the answer is financial control.
Huge. I think that's one of the biggest, right?
Right. The other one is kids.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got kids in that situation, it's so difficult. It is incredibly difficult, especially if you have no family to fall back on of your own.
Mm-hmm.
And his family is your kid's family, is your family.
And abusers isolate.
Exactly.
They take the family away.
Exactly. And that's something that Randy tried to do for a long time. I mean, he was successful in a lot of ways.
In the early days, especially.
Yes. In the early days, he was really successful at isolating me and making sure that I didn't have connections outside of his connections and his friends and his parents and his family and whatever it was. And I had to fight for the connections that I did have, because if I went anywhere without him, there was hell. I was going to have to pay some kind of toll.
Yeah.
And the toll was the silent treatment, or why didn't you answer your phone and I'm mad at you, or calling me 17 billion times while I'm out. He used to, I used to go try to see movies. He called me. I missed seeing a movie entirely because I was on the phone with him the entire time.
Yeah. Well, do you remember
in the lobby?
One of the times after I had my back surgery and I was basically immobilized, you came over and the entire time you had to be checking your phone and messaging and being like, 1 second. And then because
it was hell to pay if I didn't answer my phone, especially was, and he put it in this guise of, well, if you don't answer me, I assume you're dead in a ditch.
That's convenient.
So it was this it's not controlling. He just is worried about where I am. And I said I would check in, so I have to do that. And I have ADHD. I lose track of time a lot. but that was never a good enough like explanation or reason
Legit.
for I didn't pick up your call or I was a half hour late coming
control.
back.
It was all control.
It was all control.
Because if you were seeing me, then you were talking to people who could point out and be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's not good. You shouldn't be doing that. Blah, 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 blah.
Right. Or I had supportive relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And really that's part of why I got out in general is because I had supportive relationships.
Yeah.
And I had built them over time and I had fought for them over time. And we got into several arguments over my relationship with my brother. And he would accuse me of, it was basically like not straight up incest, but it was very much that.
That's
he
how
would say things like, you're too close to your brother and it's weird.
Right. Which, of course, it made him uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he try and tear that down?
Right. Right.
Because we tell each other everything.
Because there was an element of jealousy, first of all.
Yeah.
And then there was an element of like, oh, she's going to tell him. And he knew. He knew what he was doing was messed up.
Mm-hmm.
He knew.
Yep.
I didn't know that he knew. Or
Neither
I very conveniently decided to not go that route.
Right. We didn't want it to be true.
Right. I was like, he's just emotionally stunted and doesn't know how to do any of this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to teach him over time. And I'm going to set my boundaries and be firm. And I thought I was doing a good job defending my independence and not letting him control me because I could sense it. And I did put up a struggle in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I didn't fully cave, but I also let him get away with a lot more because he made it so incredibly irritating and painful and just not worth my time to confront him at all. So if there was conflict, it was screaming and throwing things and like putting me down and calling me names. And at one point he said something like, no wonder your parents didn't want you. Like things like that would come out of his mouth because he would get mad and he would go for the kill. Yeah. That's just how it was.
Tear you down.
Yeah. No matter whose fault it was, I was the one who wound up apologizing in the end.
Right.
And it wasn't about fault or blame, but that's just how it was like he would make it so incredibly painful to have to confront him about any of it that you just let him have his way because it's more convenient. Mm-hmm. Because it wasn't worth the fight. It wasn't worth the energy that went into the fight that didn't have any positive outcome.
Right. It was an energy sink that went nowhere.
That went nowhere. And it always went nowhere.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's just, and I'm grateful to the universe that I did not put children in that mix.
No, you refused.
Or in that situation. And I did refuse at one point. I thought we were going to have kids. That was the plan in the beginning.
That was his fix-it family plan.
Well, and then that's exactly it. Was last year it turned into this 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Because it was when my face started up.
Mm-hmm. And we had to postpone.
In the middle of me living through the most agonizing experience of my life, he would be like, let's try for a baby. And I'm like, excuse me, what are you doing? I have trigeminal neuralgia, which is nicknamed the suicide disease for a reason. Mm-hmm. It is so incredibly painful. And he would be like, well, you're in pain all the time. So why is this any different? And I'm like, do you see my face?
Oh my God.
Do you see my body and how I'm acting? It is different. Mm-hmm. Well, why? Because it is. Because it is. But I refused to have children. And then he would take it and go, well, you just don't want to have kids with me. And of course, he can't be like, yes, you're a toddler and I am already raising your ass and I don't want to put kids in the mix. But we would go back and forth between this, he thought kids would fix everything and bring us together as a family. And I was like, no, that's not. You need to go to therapy and get your shit figured out before we even think about bringing children into the mix. Because guess what? I'm not just going to bring kids in and expect them to fix everything. If I'm bringing kids into any kind of situation, it's going to be for them, not for me.
Right. The difference between what he wanted and what Jen and I did.
Yes.
Where we waited years. Yeah. Then we were like, let's have a child. We both agreed we wanted a child. So we tried for a child.
Right. And I was stable prior to having a child. Yeah.
Yeah.
So kids is another one. Family expectations is another reason that
this one sucks. Well, it can't be that bad. Mm-hmm. Or what the in-laws would do with you and be like, what was it that they would say?
It's like, well, it's just easier if you appease him, basically.
Yeah.
So they would go appeasement mode. be like, oh, I'm so sorry he's doing that. Have you tried apologizing?
Exactly.
So there was a lot of, and I lived with them for a long time. So I went through a lot of like excuses on their end.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they would look at me and be like, I'm so sorry that this is happening.
Right.
But nobody was ever able to like go, you shouldn't be dealing with that. You don't deserve to go through what you're going through.
Right.
It was always like, he's just like that.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be.
He's just like
this
that.
Shouldn't
and
be my problem.
If we just appease him, then it'll go away and it'll be fine tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's how they dealt with everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, these people were handing him beer when he was 17 to appease him and to fucking knock his ass out at some points.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of family expectations there too, because I remember when I first decided I was going to go, I remember talking to my mother-in-law and asking her, like, would you still love me if I left him?
Mm-hmm.
And she couldn't really answer it, but it would always divert back to like, well, have you tried this?
Right.
Well, have you done that? Is the marriage counselor making it worse? Was another big one. Well, she was like, having other people involved made our situation worse. And I'm like, that's because you are avoidant and you don't want to deal with your issues, and having someone to try to dig up your issues is
if the counselor drives you guys apart, it's because it's healthy for both of you to be apart.
Yeah.
She sees it as like, oh no, they're gonna break up, and like that we can't have that happen.
Right. And it was this like, well, have you given him a list of things that he needs to do in order to be better?
Nope.
And I was like,
you did though. There is at one point, laid out clearly in front of him a game plan to fix everything for himself.
Yeah. But it was for himself. It was I'm not doing it for you anymore.
Right.
I'm not doing it for you anymore. I'm not going to be your emotional regulation anymore.
Right.
Anymore. And then like feelings of failure is another big one, especially when you do get married young. I got married when I was 20. We got married for financial aid reasons so that we could go to school.
Right.
Because I think at that point, otherwise I would not have married him. Yeah, it was feelings of failure, right? Like, oh, well, you're now a statistic.
I mean, I had the reverse thing. Where like the fear of marriage, I wasn't afraid of getting married. I was afraid of getting married young to be like, I don't want to be like our parents.
Oh yeah.
You know, I don't want to fulfill the prophecy.
Yes. Yes. Well, that was the other one, is like fulfilling the prophecy.
Yeah.
Like family expectations, but on the other side.
Yeah.
Family expectations that I would fail horribly.
Right.
Family expectations that
had to buck the system. You're like, no, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Literally.
So it was this like, well, I'm going to show everybody wrong. But in the meantime,
stubborn as fuck.
Yeah, I am.
So, I mean, challenge accepted.
Right?
15 years on lock.
Fuck, Jesus. And then gaslighting and the love bombing cycle.
Yeah, that never happened.
Yeah. Or rewriting things that he would say.
I'm sure he meant
being like, well, I don't even remember that. Or his favorite thing to do, and this pattern came up so many times, and it came up that Tuesday before he left planet Earth. Was this like, oh, well, I didn't realize it at the time, but my meds were off.
Right.
And I'm like, no.
Because motherfucker stole that from me.
Yeah.
Literally, because I would be aware. But the difference.
But you were aware prior to being a jacket. Like you didn't go in to, I'm going to be a complete maniac. And then when you're upset, I'm going to go, oh, oopsies, I didn't realize.
Was that I'd misbehave, and then I would get away with it by saying I didn't have my meds, which isn't true. I'd be off my meds and I'd be stressing myself out because I was keeping myself in line. It was harder.
Well, exactly. Because it was like you were aware.
Exactly.
You were not inflicting yourself on
other people, right?
Else in your life just because you were having a bad time.
Right. It wasn't a free pass. It was a struggle for however long I didn't have my meds until I took them again. Like I wasn't not taking them because I didn't want to. I ran out and they wouldn't fill them.
Yeah. And so that excuse came up 5-6 times. And I was like, okay, we're just in excuse land now.
Yeah.
And that's for any time he would say something, think about what he said in retrospect and then go, ooh, yeah, that wasn't good. And she probably took it really badly. And now I have to go excuse it, not apologize for it, excuse it and make sure it wasn't his fault or his responsibility or whatever it was. He just wouldn't take accountability. And so it was like, oh, my meds were off and I was just feeling so blah, 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 blah. Poor me. And then it would turn into love bombing.
And I would never do that.
Yeah.
Sorry. When he's modeling behaviors, it bothers me.
The problem is that like you and I are so... we don't like being put in the victim role.
No, not even a little bit.
We would rather be victimized and have it be like in the wind than take on the role of the victim.
Yeah.
I don't like the role of the victim. I'm not a victim. I was victimized by somebody else who is responsible for their own behavior.
Right.
But I am not a victim and I'm not going to play that role.
Exactly.
Because I don't want to.
The help is so me, life is happening.
Yes.
And, no.
Life happens to me and I have no recourse and blah, 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 blah. And that's not to say that anyone who's staying in a relationship like this is playing the victim. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying for me, myself, I was so stubbornly aware and so opposed to falling into the victim role that I thrashed against it at every chance I got. Yeah.
It was like hitting a nerve. It's one of those knee-jerk reaction type things. Like, nope,
not a victim. I'm fine. And then he would promise to change. And then he would put in just enough work to make me shut up. And then we would revert and start all over again. All over again. And with him, it was like he would rewrite history every 5 minutes because seriously, every emotion was a new reality. So when he felt a way, reality shifted to reflect that way. And the truth of any situation he could see was through these like blinders of, I feel a way, therefore it is fact.
Even to the point where he couldn't accept anything from anyone. He would say, oh no, like with the card opening stuff, right? We did that. And he said shit. And I'd be like, no, I don't feel that way. I'm not doing this for that reason. We're doing this together as friends, right? Like this isn't a like I'm taking advantage of someone moment.
Yeah.
But no. In his head,
it was like for him, relationships were transactional.
Exactly.
And that was
he didn't know what I was getting out of it, except that he was sharing cards with me. And I was like, I don't need them. I'm happy to just sit here and do this with you.
Right. But I don't know.
But yeah, no, you could tell him the truth of the matter and he just would reject it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just flat out.
Well, and that's exactly what it was. Is like, I would try to communicate explicitly because that's how I'm built and that's what I need. And I would tell him that I needed him to communicate explicitly. So you would communicate and you would get, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
And that was the whole conversation was like, I feel a way because you did this. Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Or he would take my feelings and morph them into his.
Yeah.
And then it was about him. My feelings became about him every time. And so I stopped sharing my feelings because they were always taken away from me.
And weaponized.
Yeah. And used to play the victim because that's what he did was play the victim every time, all the time. And then the temporary effort would fall apart because he couldn't maintain it. And I knew it was going to fall apart. Yeah. I would watch it fall apart every time. But then he would start making an effort and you're like, I'd want to reward the effort.
Yeah. Well, because there's that hope that maybe this time.
Yeah. And he had every opportunity to better himself.
He really did.
Every opportunity to better himself. And he chose not to because it would have been hard. And because he would have had to look himself in the mirror and really, really see who he was and what he was made of and the things that he had done.
Yeah, the consequences were coming.
Yes.
There was no getting out of it this time.
Right.
Like,
because that's the thing is like, and it's hard now because I pre-grieved who I thought he was, the image of him that I protected.
Yes.
I grieved all of that while I was in the relationship.
We both did.
Yeah.
Like that, I think that also makes me seem really callous. Like when I would go over and try and help Jen with the in-laws and stuff and try and help, that I came off really callous because I was like,
yeah, because, well, and that was the thing is like you and I were grieving together and coming to grips with what things were and what they weren't. And I think what they weren't hurt more.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't an effort and it wasn't love and it wasn't consideration or care or any of that.
Ever.
Like, and oh my God, I'm going to tell you something. This made me so ferally angry. After he died, I got a message from, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Jen with Maz, who was somebody he worked with who had significant health challenges. And she was like, can you tell Karina that blah, blah, blah. I'm so sorry. She wanted to, in his celebration of life, have something read that was like, Randy was always so considerate of me and my illness. And he really practiced it with his wife and took care of her. And so he was playing this role of this like, oh, my wife is just so ill. And I take care of her. I look after her and blah, 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 blah. He didn't.
No, not even. He wasn't allowed.
He wasn't allowed to.
No one near it.
I took care of me because everything with him was transactional.
Yeah.
And I didn't want him making me feel guilty for being ill.
Right.
Because that was my life.
Could you imagine him being in the doctor's office when you're trying to explain something and then he just plays it off as something else?
Or pretends that he has noticed it.
Right.
When he hasn't.
Right.
Because he doesn't pay attention.
Lean into it.
Pay attention.
Or alter it. I could totally see him being the douchebag. He's like, actually, no, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. I would ask him to take videos of like spasms and he would be like, I don't know where you want me to. And I was like, can you zoom in and take a video of the spasm? And he would be like, I can't really see it. So I'm just going to go inside. Like he was callous with me about my illness. And so I stopped sharing it and I stopped sharing my like emotions and I stopped, he would, the love bombing and then the like gaslighting cycle was really hard because it would be like really affectionate 1 minute and then completely cold the next. It wasn't just like, oh, the affection has died down. It was, don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Definitely don't touch me.
I performed affection. The end.
Yes.
Right.
Or I perform it in front of somebody at a gathering and now I'm done for the next 6 weeks. Don't look at me. Like there was I went through a whole stage of like full on touch starvation.
Yeah.
Because.
I remember that.
Yeah.
We brought it up on the podcast.
Yeah. Being like completely touch starved and playing it off as that's just his sensory needs.
Right.
When that was not true at all.
He just didn't have a reason to do anything. He was doing his thing
or it kept me on a really like.
Right.
Because then I would be really receptive to whatever affection and then he could have what he wanted or get away with whatever, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So affection was a tool that he used. And then he just stopped one day.
Yeah.
He stopped performing it all. And then I was like, okay, you quit drinking and you fell apart and I can't do this. And then he made me be his mother. And then more snippy snips because how do you, and then he would have these like full on meltdowns about sex in general and how he wasn't having enough of it and he wasn't happy and he blah, blah, blah. And he needed me to do blah, blah, blah. And I would be like, no, that's a you problem. You have hands. I don't know. Figure it out.
Yeah, no.
But it was just, there was no real affection. There was no real love. And I wasn't allowed to love him either.
Right.
In a lot of ways. He would either sequester himself to a room and ignore me, or I would offer affection and then be snubbed, or don't touch me, or like, I just need some space or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so I learned that I had to be in the relationship by myself. And so I did. I was in the relationship by myself and I did everything and he did nothing and I took care of everything and he would run around feeling guilty sometimes and then
literally
still do nothing.
You stop cleaning, it makes me feel bad.
Yeah. Or he would clean. Do you remember when he took before and after pictures?
Yeah.
Of the kitchen and then was like, ta-da. And I was like, cool. Do you know
Keep
that that's the first time that you've cleaned anything in over 8 weeks?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, oh, well, I thought you'd be happy. And I'm like, keep doing it and then talk to me because I'm not doing this like, hooray, you did one thing. Good job.
Yeah.
But then it was like, oh, well, I'm so depressed. Oh, I have panic attacks that only lasted as long as it was convenient. And then they like evaporated.
Well, yeah, because they're... and
then he was changing his medications like 6-7 times a month.
He didn't have them.
Yeah. And then he was selling Adderall. And then he was taking way too much Adderall. And then it was just, he was self-medicating with mushrooms. He was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And it just got worse and worse and worse over time. And so then it became this like, okay, you've promised to change this many times. I've watched the pattern, like really watched the pattern closely 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
And then now I'm calling you out because 3 times in a row, this is a pattern. 3 times over the last like 6 months. Or it wouldn't even be 6 months. It was probably 3 times over 3 months. And then it was like, okay, well, this is the pattern and I'm done. What's to say it's going to be different?
Right.
And then
I remember when you said that.
Yeah. Like how am I expected to think that it's going to be different this time? What is different about this time?
Yeah.
Why is this time the time when you're still not going to AA and you're still not like engaging in therapy?
Yeah.
And you're still shutting down and going into like shame spirals at couples counseling or whatever it was, or who knows? It was nasty. And people don't see those parts of these like doomed abusive relationships and dynamics.
Yeah. Side note, if you're going to get into mushrooms, buy a plastic container, a little one, and grow them in a little container. Don't spend $8,000 on turning your basement room into a shroom room.
And then growing mold on my walls.
On everything?
Yeah, because you were humidifying everything.
Because you couldn't contain it because you didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah. And then one day he just was like, okay, I'm done. I'm bored now.
Yeah.
Bye.
And just abandoned them.
Yeah.
So the room got nastier.
So much mold.
You had to clean it, tear it apart. Fuck.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do shrooms, kids.
Yeah. It was just...
Don't grow shrooms, kids.
The depression house was really bad.
Well,
like,
yeah.
When I left,
yeah,
after he died, and I went to Iowa,
and then I cleaned.
They all cleaned my depression house, and I'm so glad I wasn't there.
And we kicked its ass.
I'm so glad I wasn't there because I would have died of shame.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
That you weren't there, but I don't think you should feel shame because it was not your shame.
I know, but it was still that like, look at what I've been living. Because it's what I said when Tim's mom came and cleaned, where it was like, it's one thing to be able to sit and talk about the abuse. It's a whole other thing when people can see it.
Right.
When people can see it, it's a whole new level of like vulnerability and like you've been exposed.
Right.
And then there's this like element of pity and horror. And people look at you like, Jesus, motherfucking Christ, are you okay? And you're like,
nobody who was on the cleanup crew did any of that.
Yeah.
Everyone was like,
I know, but
fuck, this sucks. Let's fix it.
Yeah. Well, they did a great job. So, I mean, we're going to talk escape plan, but my escape plan didn't come to fruition the way that I wanted it to. I didn't get to leave.
You had most of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, and I had kicked him out of the house,
which
was like needed because step one. I needed him out of the house because
for your sanity.
Yeah, because I needed to take care of the animals. I needed to be there with the animals. Yeah, right. That was the thing. Because otherwise, I would have taken Archer and come here.
Right,
and that would have been it. And then somebody actually, I don't remember who it was, said, don't leave the house.
Yeah, I think it was Lori, wasn't it?
I think it might have been Lori, actually. Yeah. She was like, don't leave the house. If you're looking at divorce, don't leave the house.
Right. Because then he can take the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I flat out told him that I was going to leave several times.
For like months.
And he would either come up with this like last ditch effort, here's the plan, which like his last one was, let's try an open relationship. And I was like, that's not going to work. That's not going to go well for you. You're not going to like this. Mm-mm. He joined every dating site.
In one
no
day.
Action.
And he sent
nothing
the same
happened.
Message out to like
he like copy pasted something about like, hi, I hope this isn't creepy like most dudes.
It's creepy.
And you're like,
if
it's creepy if you're starting
it
out going, I'm trying not to be creepy.
You're creep.
But it's complicated. Leaving is hard and it's complicated and there's many moving parts.
Scary.
And that's the thing is it wasn't scary for me the same way it was scary for the people who heard that I was getting ready to leave.
Yes.
Like I had Tim asking me, are you going to be safe leaving? I had my grandfather asking me, are you going to be safe leaving? I had Lori, my school mom, asking me, are you going to be safe leaving? And it never occurred to me that I would be unsafe leaving.
Right.
Because I never imagined
the fallout.
No, it was more that like I had to envision myself as my protector.
Right. That makes sense.
In order to get through all of it. And so it was like, no fear now. I don't have time for fear now. And I don't feel in danger because I feel more in control than I've been in a long time.
Yeah. No, you were empowering yourself at the time.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Because that was my like listening to my intuition again for the first time in years. And pulling back the curtains of the gaslighting.
I had plans for if you had to leave, like if something happened in the house and you had to leave and you had to take all the animals and come here, I was going to set up the camera, like the exterior camera so that I could see. Cause I was afraid that he would rage quit and come over here and decide that it was time like for everyone to pay the reckoning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That wasn't like a casual, it was like
there was a part of me that was like, is everybody else going to be safe if I leave?
Right.
It was like, am I putting other people in danger by going wherever?
Right.
So, I mean, I was aware. There's definitely, I was aware. I just, cognitive dissonance.
No, yeah.
It's hell of a thing.
Well, and you
trick yourself into believing things.
You were in every moment. You were reading new things and like trying to navigate it to keep him safe from himself.
Yes.
Which, you did.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do anything wrong.
It was like he held himself hostage.
Yeah.
And I knew that was going to be a major hurdle. Mm-hmm. I knew that there was going to be at least a possibility that he was going to stage an attempt because he had done it in the past. Anytime that I was like this close to letting it all go and being like, I take my hands off, goodbye.
Right.
There was an attempt because that's how he drew me back in.
Yeah.
Or made me responsible for his life because if you leave, it's your fault. Mm-hmm. And that was something that I dealt with after the fact was the like, well, I left and then this happened. So is it my fault? And then that very quickly was squashed because by then I was like, I am not responsible.
And everybody around you, everyone was always
like,
saying,
thank God you didn't think it was your fault. And I was like, once the coroner called and said it wasn't one of your weapons that you had spent the whole day, the previous day getting rid of, it wasn't one of those. He traded for a new one. Mm-hmm. That was when I was like, okay, not my fault. No, none of this was my fault. I can't be held responsible for this.
And let's say that you didn't get rid of a gun because they wouldn't take it. That's not your fault.
Yeah. Well, and if they didn't take it, it wasn't functional.
Right.
So I was like, I don't understand how this happened. I was so confused.
Yeah.
So confused. And like Tim was aware that I was selling the guns. And he and I talked a little bit and he was like, I was actually really worried that it was something you missed.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I was really worried it was something I missed too. And he was like, I was afraid that it was going to be like a day late, dollar short situation. No, he found a way because
he traded
he knew
stuff
what he was going to do
on Facebook Marketplace or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably because he was trading guitars a lot, and buying guitars a lot. the man had like $200,000 of debt that I didn't know about.
On top
and
of
things that he put my name on too.
$300,000 that she did know about.
So fun. So fun. Just so cool. So, I mean, the financial part was really tough too, because he was financially irresponsible and dug himself several holes. And I was unaware until afterwards that he had major debt collectors coming after him and was getting calls every day. I did not know any of that until he put it in the note.
Right.
And then I didn't read the note until I came here after everything happened.
Yeah, no, that's
because I was on the phone with him when he sent it out. And then I was on the phone with the cops. And then I was on the phone with him again. And then I was sitting there talking to, because I was messaging Tim and Jen and you while the cops were talking to Randy.
Yeah.
Because I was like, all right, fine, you guys try. Whatever. So there was that like financial portion, and having a support system, I think, is the biggest key.
Yeah.
Because
you can maneuver financial stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like, if you're in the situation and you're trying to get out, don't let that be the like deciding factor that you have to stay for money, because you can figure that out after the fact. You just need a support system that's willing to help you and keep you safe.
Yes. Yeah. Get you through. Because honestly, had we gone through with a divorce, it would have been messy. Yeah. It would have been really, really, really messy and really nasty. Really
petty. Yeah. Really bad.
Well, because he flat out told me, I was like, I want, and I said it wrong in the other video. Listen closely. I said I wanted the house and the dog. What I meant was I wanted the car and the dog. I told him I didn't want the house. Right. Because he said, if you give me another year, I will sign over the house to you. Well, and I said, I don't want the house. I don't want another year. I want to be done. I want to be done. I want out. And he said, the car's in my name and you can't have the dog. And I was like, cool, we're doing this.
Yeah.
This is going to be icky. Yeah. It's going to be hard and gross and icky and petty and vindictive. Yeah. And it would have been. But that was the thing, is like, I had to fully let go of any perceived responsibility to the situation. And I had to take responsibility for my own well-being and understanding that, like, emotionally, physically, mentally, I didn't deserve anything that he had put me through. And coming to that realization and really understanding the abuse, because again, he was like handing me different things of abuse. Yeah. And then being like, oh yeah, remember that time that I R-worded you? Cool. And I'm like, okay, thanks. Thank you.
That was fun to read about.
Angry. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that great? So great. Huh. And I was like, you remember the other times that happened? No, we're just going with the one time that you remember. Cool. Yeah. So it was just, there was a lot to it, and a lot of deconstructing and a lot of like processing when everything happened, because I didn't get to process in the way that I wanted to, because he took the leaving from me. Yeah. So I can't speak on necessarily the aftermath of leaving the abusive relationship, because the abusive relationship ended itself.
I can.
Let me be perfectly clear about this real quick, and then I'll give you.
No, you're good.
This is not how I wanted any of this to end. I didn't want that for him. That was not something I anticipated him ever going through with, because he had made so many threats so many times that I was like, here we go again. I never thought that he would actually go through with it, for one thing. And for another, like, it was not, it's not something that I'm glad for. No. At all. I'm actually, we've talked about this, where I'm more angry at him because he was standing on the precipice of real change.
Yeah. And I've said that to several people. That was my first anger, was the last 2 weeks. Yeah. He was doing the work.
When he wasn't living with me, that's the thing, is anytime I kicked him out, he was doing friggin' great.
And we said that. I told him as much. I said,
the distance was so good.
When she's not around, you're functioning and working on yourself. When she's in the equation, you lose your fucking mind.
Yep. And that, like, there's a lot of anger there that, like, you did this to not just me, but to your family and to your friends and your coworkers and your students and all of the people who loved and cared about you, because you didn't want to go through the effort and the energy that it would take to make real change because you were afraid of your own brain. You were too afraid of yourself to do what you needed to do to have real change.
Yeah.
And that was the thing, is if it didn't mean that I stayed.
Right.
Because his whole thing was like, if you're not staying, what's the point? And I'm like, you can't change to make me stay because then you're not changing. That's not how it works. No, you change for you or you don't change at all.
Which he was not willing to do.
No, because it would have been consequences and uncomfortable and effort.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, just aftermath is not pretty. No. Kaylee had a really bad relationship before and it still fucks with her, I'm sure. Like, it fucks with me. I feel bad that happened. And again, it's like the behaviors seemed toxic in hindsight. It's like, oh, well, shit, that was not great. Why did anybody go, oh, that's fine? But it was the same controlling behavior where like she wasn't allowed to go out to places. She wasn't allowed to see people. She wasn't allowed to do certain things. And like, we had to plan around it. It was so bullshit. Like,
and carefully. And it was just gross. Yeah. So now I'm in this weird phase of celebrating my freedom.
Yeah.
And my independence from that relationship and deconstructing everything that now I have to go through and be like, yeah, that was abuse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that one.
And this is...
Ooh, that was super messed up.
This is the hard part, I think, for a lot of people, is the celebrating. You're allowed to celebrate that you got out of a bad situation.
Yes.
Like, there is joy in that.
You can heal in laughter.
People are going to give you shit, though.
Yes.
I mean, you're going to have friends that are like, oh, that was a bad idea. Why you should still be together. You have a family that does that shit. Yeah. They'll want you to be with them because for whatever the fuck reason they have, that they think that it's not as bad, or they'll, gaslight you. And no, you're allowed to be like, I'm done. I've moved on. Life is now better.
Like, this is why people have divorce parties. Come on.
Literally.
Just because I wasn't loud about it in the abuse doesn't mean that it didn't take place.
Right.
And that it didn't scar me in its own way. So there's a lot of situations now where I have to look at it and go like, okay, whose voice is that? Because these are either survival tactics that I picked up because of the relationship.
Behaviors that you...
Or they were things I adopted.
Are they maladaptive behaviors then?
Some of them.
Where it's like, I'm not going to do this because it might anger him. Oh shit, I don't.
Oh yeah.
They're like...
I have to be super aware of that with Tim now. So that I'm not...
projecting that.
Yeah. So I'm not playing like appeasement behaviors where I don't need to, because I don't need to.
Remember, what was it? There was that one thing that happened. Oh, shit.
Huh.
I lost all my audio. I'll get it.
I wondered if it was you or me. I can hear me still.
Oh, no. There we go. I'm better. Okay. But like, something stupid happened. Do you remember when this was a couple of weeks ago? And you freaked out and you went out to the porch and you panicked.
Oh, it was the crazy ex-girlfriend thing.
Yes.
Because she threatened to take him to court and I was like,
over something that you did.
Right. And it wasn't even anything like bad.
No, but
whatever.
You had that anticipation of it's the end of the world.
Yes. Or I'm going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Or like my nervous system lit
and you
up.
Logically you knew that wasn't going to happen.
Right.
But you physically, your body was like, hey guys, remember this?
Yeah. So I literally had to text him and go, my nervous system is not going to let me talk about this right now physically, but here's where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I was able to just communicate it. And he came out and was like, you're okay.
Yeah, but you're going to run into shit like that. Yeah. Like, you're traumatized. If you're coming from an abusive relationship, your brain chemistry is different. Your behaviors are going to be modeled on survivability. Yes. Not on what's like the best, most thriving situation for you.
The other one is like not maladaptive, but like small lies.
Yeah.
Survival lies.
Survival lies.
That's going to be, I mean, it's not been a hard one to break, but like,
It's not fun to deal with.
I have to think about it
before you say things.
Answer, because the automated response would be that like protective lie.
Exactly.
And you're like, okay, I don't need to do that.
Right.
I don't need to do that. I don't, because now it's like battling the habit.
Mm-hmm.
Battling the habit and the like, your brain's like, this is a threat. And so you have to teach the brain that it's not a threat.
Right.
And that's a little challenging sometimes.
You are so cursed with electronics.
I know. I think it's my own electricity because the twitchy twitches.
I just wanted to vibrate. I wanted to synchronize.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I am shaky.
Right? It's shaky time.
Damn.
But it's different being in a healthier relationship.
Well, and so quickly. It's got to be difficult because of how quick it.
Well, it's
quick
difficult.
It appeared, but it's not quick.
Right.
Nothing about the relationship is quick. Let's
be super clear. We have been friends for 17 years. We've been close friends 2008.
Okay.
So close to 17 years. Yeah? No, 17 years.
17 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, my math might be wrong. I don't know. We've been friends for 17 years. I wanted this boy to take my virginity, first of all.
He took mine. Stud. Anyway.
And we've kind of been carrying a torch for one another this whole time. So,
well, you've been in contact. You've helped each other through bad times.
Yeah.
And
like I wrote to him forever and ever. And
even in the context of your relationship with Randy, months of not being together had happened.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You guys had been separated.
Yep. We had been separated for almost a year.
I'm putting
coming up on a year.
I need people to know.
Yes.
Because it seems like, you know, people will be like, oh, he died. And then instantly you were with him.
Right.
No.
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 No. Yeah. But that makes it really tough too. Because there's that like, there are guilty elements there.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, you try to say it to somebody or you're like, I'm happy. And then people are like, how can you be happy? That's impossible. Or how could you move on so quickly? I'm like, I'm not moving on quickly. This is like, we were ships in the night a lot because our timing never worked out. And now the timing has worked out very well for some reason. I don't know what the hell. The universe was just like, all right, here.
I told you, you guys weren't ready. And then the time was right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, I mean, it's not.
And it's not quick. Like even your processing, you delayed processing.
Yes.
You were like school time, finished school.
Mm-hmm.
Summer happened. Yep. You were repressing.
Yes.
Because it was a lot.
Yes.
And you were in something new that was a distraction, which is good.
Yeah.
And then it just happened that 6 months hit and work hit and you
had 6 months hit and I was like, something really bad happened to me.
Right. The deep processing has to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what you've been doing the last few weeks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like you seem a lot lighter.
Yeah. Well, and I feel a lot lighter. I feel like, because there was that guilt, obviously, and like the nervousness of talking to people about being in this really fulfilling relationship.
Yeah.
And then when I do talk to people who give a crap about me, there's no judgment.
I don't care about you. I don't care.
Lies and slander. But that's the thing. It's like, it's just when I know who's there.
Yeah.
Now I know who's like.
It was a good filter.
Yes.
Me too. Like, I know who to call now if something goes wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like, I know what resources I have to help you, which is great.
Well, and for anything that goes wrong within this unit is great. So
if one of us goes down, we know who's in.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And it's just been different and new and not new, but like letting somebody okay, let's put it this way. Letting him love me in a way that allows me to be soft.
Yes. That was the first thing you ever said about.
So different.
About your relationship with him. Yeah. Remember, that was the first thing you said was that he allows me to be soft.
Yes.
And I was like, no, that makes sense. Like, I get that.
Because I've never been allowed to be soft.
No.
I have to be the one in control of everything all the time.
Right.
I don't get to be soft. I don't get to be baby.
But he gets the same thing from you.
Exactly.
Too, which is what I think is fucking adorable.
Yes. We both can be baby at the same time. It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just.
It's a tough situation.
It is.
That was navigated in a tough way.
Mm-hmm.
With lots of twists and turns because your life is a book.
I don't like this book. Well, I like it now.
Well, now it's a romance novel.
Woo.
It's very smutty. I can't read chapters 10 through 12. They're very graphic. Let's just say that. I don't need to know. I read part of chapter 8. There was some stuff and I was like, oh my. And I stopped. But now, holy shit. Yeah.
No comment.
It's very smutty.
It's very smutty.
It's very smutty.
Well, that's like, he's somebody who makes me question whether or not I have trust issues.
You have trusting certain people issues.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing is like we have such a like deep foundation.
Yeah.
I know him and he knows me and we're like.
He's the same brain.
Yes.
That's why I can get along with
all
him so
three
well.
of us together is fucking hilarious because it's just riffing constantly at one another,
fun.
about one another, anything and everything. It's great.
I brought him cupcakes the other day. It was fantastic.
Yes. And that was after he was sick. Poor kid.
I wanted to baby him.
Yeah.
It's like, here, have a snack.
He's baby. Have snack. He liked snack. He was very happy.
Good.
But yeah, it's just, if you are in an abusive relationship, and I'm going to say, honestly, deep in your core.
If
you know.
If you question it, maybe analyze that.
Yes. Without excuses.
Right.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you are in an adult relationship, there is no excuse.
Right.
There are no more excuses. That person is responsible for their behavior and their part in the relationship. And we can't be offering them outs.
Yeah. Think of it this way. If you're blaming yourself for something they did, that's impossible.
Yes.
There's no way that unless you physically force them.
They're blaming you for something they did.
Right. That's on them.
Yeah.
You can only control how you react to your surroundings and yourself.
Yeah.
You are in control of that.
Yes.
People like to think they're not and be like, well, Jen made me beat her the other day. I didn't want to, but the sack of nickels had to come out.
Oh my God. Not the nickels, Papa.
Well, then we counted them. Anyway.
That was her punishment.
Yeah, we're going to count nickels.
Sit down.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
You are not responsible for other people.
No. You are responsible for your actions and your reactions.
Mm-hmm.
You are responsible for how you manage your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
All of that falls on you, and in the same light, all of that falls on them for themselves.
And apply that to other relationships in your life, please.
Yes. And if they can't manage that, honey, it's not. You're raising them. You're not in a relationship with them. And you don't need that.
Right.
You don't need to be raising your partner. Unless you're into that, in which case.
Right.
You do you.
Shame, no shame. You do you.
You do whatever makes you happy. Okay.
With explicit and enthusiastic consent.
Consent, yes. Every time.
Every time.
Every time. I don't want to hear it from you. Stop it.
I have a very dark story to share after this.
With me or just with them?
No, God, no. I can't tell.
Okay.
No. It's not one you want to hear.
Okay.
It falls in the tangent of the conversation we just had, and it's not a good experience. So,
but the thing is, like, friends, recognize those red flags as what they are, and they are red flags.
And please help your friends if you notice they're struggling in a bad relationship.
And value yourself because you have intrinsic value because you exist. And nothing in your world, unless you are out there like murdering puppies and kittens for funsies, means that none of this, you don't deserve it.
Right.
You don't deserve it. And there's no excuse in the book of like, oh, well, I didn't have dinner on the table, or I forgot to blah, 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 or I didn't answer my phone when I was supposed to, or I lied and went and saw my sister. Because guess what? That happens. People have to lie to go see their siblings. It's weird. You have value and you don't deserve to be in a situation like the one that I just came out of.
Yeah.
Nobody deserves to be in a situation like the one I came out of. And you deserve to recognize the situation for what it is. And you deserve to find something different, something better. You deserve to be happy and healthy. And remember, friends, happy is an emotion. It's not a state of being.
Right. It is not neutral.
Yeah. So find your happy in the day-to-day and guard your heart and value yourself, because there's a lot of times where only you can protect you. And that's not to say that you're responsible for the abuse, but it means that a lot of times we hide a lot of the abuse from the people we love because we don't want to see the reactions on their faces. So you got to protect you and think about the younger version of you and do that younger version of you a service, not a disservice, and protect them. And that's kind of how I've had to look at this, is like I had to grieve for 15 years of lost time and abuses that I let slide and things that I buried because I didn't want to remember them. Yeah. I mean, grieve it, but understand that you didn't deserve it.
Right. You have worth and you deserve better.
Yeah.
Always.
Always. And my friends, this isn't just to say that like these kind of abusive relationships are strictly romantic. These abusive relationships can show up anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
So value yourself. Guard yourself. Love yourself. Be kind to you. Be kind to others. And we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
You're welcome. I don't know.